pay double when you off in the field. Niggas is mad cause rap money's buying my meals. I ain't gotta hate, just stating how I feel. Y'all don't understand the work that it took to get the deal. Better bend it up, the dice is finna roll. Blood flowing through my veins is ice cold. Bet the mother load that you see these whack. Took your shit back, showing disgust with these tracks. Niggas make an album and hang on 2 songs. 2 that's okay, 10 that's so wrong. Rhyming off beat, the tracks that's too long. My dirty dozen, they bang like King Kong. This is R12, my ship is coming in. Punk money stay to the side, it can't win. Put it all down on 2 dice to spin. When it looks like money, I breaks out the grin. R12.
We're going all out, and we can't fail. Throw it out, never be in doubt. This is R12.
R12.
We're going all out, and we can't fail. Throw it out, never be in doubt. This is R12.
R12.
We're going all out, and we can't fail. Throw it out, never be in doubt. This is R12.
R12.
We're going all out, and we can't fail. Throw it out, never be in doubt. This is R12.
R12.
We're going all out, and we can't fail. Throw it out, never be in doubt. This is R12.
R12.
We're going all out, and we can't fail. Throw it out, never be in doubt. This is R12.
those souvenirs in my memory got me going down in strike. All those souvenirs in my memory got me ruining my soul. Ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, dee-da-dee, da-dee-dum, dee-wo. Ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, ba-ba-dee-dee-dee-dee, yeah. All those souvenirs in my memory got me going down in strike. All those souvenirs in my memory got me ruining my soul. But if you tell me what I should be offering, how ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, ba-ba-dee-dee-dee-dee, yeah. But if you tell me what I should be offering, and maybe the sun is increasingly high. All the souvenirs in my memories got me ruining my soul. But if you tell me what I should be offering, ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, dee-da-dee, da-dee-dum, dee-wo. Ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, ba-ba-dee-dee-dum, ba-ba-dee-dee-dee-dee, yeah.
Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining Hague Talks. My name is Tatum Wissler. I am a singer and a DJ, and I will be your host for today. We are really happy that Eric de Baat, director of the Carnegie Foundation, that is managing the Peace Palace, is attending our event. So, Mr. Baat, welcome. Yes? Thank you. Really happy to be here. First of all, I want to tell you, please use your telephone. You can leave them on, but please turn off the sound. We want you to Twitter, Instagram. Do you like us on Facebook already? It's hashtag Hague Talks. You can ask your questions through Twitter, also at home, hashtag Hague Talks. And last but not least, don't forget to smile, but people are watching us on live stream, so you know.
Hi there, my name is Murad Subay. I'm a graffiti artist. I'm sorry that I couldn't make it to be with you in person, but I made a video and a mural. I hope you enjoy it. أول شيء رسمت رسمة كانت تعبيرية تشكيلية كذا. في 2001 كانت ليلة مظلمة حتى بدون كهرباء. كنت في الصف الثامن. فبعدين وريت الرسمة هذه لإخواني وأخواتي وطبعا أسرتي، فقالوا أوه أنت فنان وكذا واصل. خلاص وصل. نتغدى، يكون في تواصلات قبل الغداء أنا وأصدقائي. أنا بتخزن، أنا أقول لهم بتخزنوا. بعدين نشتري الكات، نروح نخزن. أول ساعتين هي تكون مليئة بالضحكة والتنكيت على فكرة الكات هو طقس حلو. نتكلم عن المقايل بشكل عام، إن هي حالة مصغرة للمجتمع اليمني الأكبر. فالكات أصبح اليوم هو متنفس. مجالس الكات هي متنفسة للناس، إضافة إلى أنه يكون في كهرباء بعض الأحيان. نروح نشحن لابتوبات وتليفونات. الرسمات هي تعبر عن الضحايا، هم المدنيين، هم الضحية دائما الأولى لأي حرب وخاصة في اليمن. في مقدمة هؤلاء الأبرياء هم الأطفال. الأطفال يعانوا اليوم في اليمن يعني من مشاكل كبيرة جدا، مشاكل نفسية. لم يعودوا يستطيعوا النوم، بدأوا يتبولوا في الفراش، أشياء كثيرة. فالحرب هي كارثية جدا على الناس وعلى الأبرياء وعلى الأطفال في مقدمة الجميع للأسف. احنا في الألفية الثالثة وما زلنا نتكلم على الميليشيا وعلى أحداث حدثت قبل 1400 سنة. معنا عدة مشاكل، كل مشكلة تكون لو كانت في أي دولة أخرى، أقصد من الدول اللي مستقرة، كانت ستكون مشكلة قومية. نتكلم عن العمالة، الخيانة الوطنية، الاختطاف، تجنيد الأطفال. اليوم تجنيد الأطفال على أوجه في أعلى مستويات. أنا يعني اللي ممكن يسأل الواحد إيش دور الفن؟ دور الفن اليوم أنه يحضر ويقول للناس هناك خيارات أخرى غير الحرب. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Now I hope you have a better understanding of the situation in Yemen. The people of Yemen needs your support and the voices of people like you. Thank you very much.
everybody. I hope you can hear me well. Yes, I hear myself. My name is Masoud Hassani. Originally, I'm from Afghanistan. I was born there, and when I was about 14 years old, I immigrated to the Netherlands as a refugee. So at the time, I was 14, so I came on my own. And in the Netherlands, it was in 1998 or something like that. So now you know how old I am. So then I started to do studies, and I played a lot of football and so on. And recently, a few years ago, I graduated at the Design Academy in Eindhoven. And one of my projects was based on my childhood toys. So my childhood toys were I was making them in Afghanistan when I was a kid. And they were all about paper models. Where we played them, there was a lot of landmines on those fields. And so with that idea in mind, I made a really big sculpture, which is wind-powered. And that it's actually art, but in the same time also a product. And that got a lot in the media attention, and we raised a lot of media awareness about it, and also so a lot of people got aware about the problem landmines. And so that is a really local project. But now the next goal is actually out to get rid of landmines in 10 years. So that is as fast as possible. And now it is estimated to take, it will take about 1,100 years, so more than a millennium, to take all of them, because it's really hard. And so in the past 2 years, I've been working on a systematic system, so based on drones and really smart robots. So it is basically a drone. It's a smart drone, but it has also add-ons like robotics into that. So this is one of the pictures. So as you can see there, it's a really big detector hanging to this drone. So when it flies around, it detects landmines and explosives from a distance. So usually people, they should go with a detector on the ground. So it's a very risky job. So a lot of people, they get really hurt. So, and this drone, it's in development at the moment. It will be finished in only 1 or 2 months. This is also a prototype which works already. So it works in 3 steps. The first step is detection, mapping. So it flies on a big area. It maps the whole area and draws a GPS coordinates. And the second is, then it flies really low. Then it knows where to be and detects the areas very accurately and sprays with the paint and tags them also with the GPS coordinates. And the third option is it has also a robotic arm, which puts 2 pins in the ground, it shocks the ground and blows landmines from a distance. So this could be done manually from a distance. And so the calculation is actually within 10 years, if you have lots of them in some areas, it could be done. So now I will show you a video how it is done, how we work with a small team. Let me check. Yeah.
You were mentioning they can reach like a few kilometers, right?
I will talk along the video a little bit. This is our team. So we put a small team together of 8 people. They're all engineers. So here we are discussing on table how can we develop such a thing in very fast speed. And this is all done in-house. So we have 3D printers and laser cut and these kind of things. So, and we have programmers who code the language of a drone and robotics. So this is our workshop. So it is all done from scratch. At the moment, everything is open source. So this is the first step, which is very interesting. So a lot of people, they can also collaborate online to add codes and to improve the robotics. So this is one of the models that it can drop the detector to the ground and then lift it back again. So this is a robotic arm. It goes in here, and it detects the ground when, when the ground is a little bit not smooth. Then it senses the ground, so it stays always effective. And this is the live feed. So it is GPS feed. When it flies around, you see actually what's happening in real time. So we have done all this for a presentation with the organization is called DCA. So it's an NGO in Denmark. So we went there to present that there were like 17 countries that they work on field to demine, and all their representatives, they were there. So this is the first mapping. With the camera, there's a camera on board. It visualizes the whole area. So this is the second step. So they're pretty stable actually. So, and usually they were complaining it's not going to happen, it's not going to work because you have to be very stable, but they're. So we saw here only a few prototypes, and there are more. We are developing a few more, and in the next month we are also launching again a Kickstarter campaign. So we have done this also before for the another, which was the wind-powered version. So we needed at that time to do more research about it. So now we have worked on this project for almost 2 years. So it's now the next step to fund it again. So in October, we also present the final models during Dutch Design Week. It is from 17 October. And then we launched the next campaign. And our main goal is to get rid of landmines in only 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Masoud. Thank you. All right, now it's the opportunity to ask a question. And I have a microphone right here. So if you have a question, please raise your hand and I will throw the microphone to you and you can. So that's nice. Does anybody have a question? First one? Yes? Oh, wait.
Good catch.
When the drone falls down on the ground, what will you do?
When it crashes.
When it crashes, you go there and pick it up?
It is it has a GPS. So when it crashes down, you know exactly where they are. We have also another drone with a robot arm that takes it out.
Oh, it's inside the minefield, huh?
Yeah, it's in the minefield, yeah.
Can you hold the microphone a little bit closer?
So that's the reason that we made a robot, that it can work in groups, and also when one falls, it can pick it up. That's why I showed also a robot arm there. But there's a possibility that it crash, but there's also a solution for it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Yeah?
Maybe you said it and I didn't understand it, but when drone detects the mine, what's happening then? It's only a mappage of this, or how do you?
So there are 3 steps.
Yeah.
In the first step, it flies high. It sees the whole area with the camera. While it's flying, it draws already GPS coordinates. So then you know where to start and so on. The second step is the detection.
Pokazivao nam je čisto što je barač, objašnjavao da je to nešto što on kad pritisne nas nema. Vjerujte da sam ja molio Boga da ga nekad pritisne. Gledala su nas kao životinje, tako da sam se ja možda u jednom trenutku počeo jošati tako. Znate, kad neko dođe i gledate od ozgo sa visine, ti ovako preplašen, zuriš u njega. Ja sam takav ošća da nikad više neću raditi. Nikad više neću raditi neke stvari koje sam volio.
Good afternoon and welcome. And I guess the sound is fine. My name is Tony Borden, and I'm the Executive Director of the Institute for War and Peace Reporting, based in London. IWPR is an international NGO that strengthens the voices of local journalists and civic activists in areas of crisis and conflict around the world. By giving voice, we help resolve conflict and contribute to positive change. Now, I could just try to promote the organization and tell you how great we are, and that's what charity directors usually do. But I was asked today to try to tell a more personal story about my involvement with IWPR as the founder, and to share some experiences over more than 20 years. I guess that means, why did I do it? What are some of the highlights? And what have I learned? I began my career in publishing and editing in New York City. They were wonderful years, and it was terrific fun. But you know, I wondered, what did it all mean? By the time IWPR came around, I was in London, and frankly, a little bit at loose ends. It's a condition in the journalism trade we also call working freelance. So that's the practical side. But I like to think that the real reason I became involved, and the reason I've stayed involved, is hope. Back in the early 1990s, at a time of monolithic mainstream media, before the technology revolution and globalization, we had a sense, we had an instinct that there were unheard voices out there, and that what they had to say really mattered. We wanted to make a difference, and we thought we could do that by trying to help these voices from conflict zones to be heard. The first project was a small newsletter published by a group of us in London around the first Gulf War, highlighting the voices of Iraqis, Kurds, and others from around the Middle East. We moved on to what was really the foundation period of the Institute in the Balkans, working very intensively for more than a decade, well more than a decade, across the region. As Yugoslavia tore itself apart, chauvinist propaganda was produced. We started to cover the International Criminal Tribunal in The Hague, which is one reason why it's such a great pleasure to be in this palace and in this wonderful city of peace and justice, work that we still continue. And we founded a network of local media and training hubs across the region, which still continue. We had been working for 4 years already by the time of the genocide in Srebrenica. Men separated from women, taken to the woods and slaughtered by their thousands. We did not feel at that time, on that day, that we had a solution for how media could help stop war and make peace. It was certainly a time of great self-doubt. Fortunately, a peace activist of many years reminded me of the concept, think global and act local. Even if high politics failed so spectacularly, even if rampant soldiers could not be stopped, our job is to work at the grassroots, to seed long-term change and keep hope alive. It was a lesson that I would have to remind myself of many times over the years. A decade on, the circle was closed. I was traveling to the airport in Skopje, Macedonia, when I heard that a second plane had crashed into the Twin Towers in my cherished birth city of New York. My father had worked in those buildings only a few years before, and I knew them well. Suddenly, our efforts, which had just been about there, were now about back home as well. Extremist ideals, violent propaganda, hate speech. What we had seen with such dramatic regional effect in the Balkans had now gone global. It was inevitable that so would we. We expanded to Afghanistan and Iraq, and then Africa, and across Middle East and North Africa, and now Asia and Latin America. Each country is different. Each project you undertake has to respond to needs, gaps, and available resources. So the diversity of our programming is very wide, providing intensive training and mentoring, supporting professional media production on human rights, reconciliation, and women's issues, providing strategic planning and advice and communications training to local civil society groups. Increasing part of our work today is supporting the safety and security of local journalists and civil society activists whose frontline efforts or online presence are putting them at increasing risk from hostile authorities. Setbacks continue. Governments don't reform, dictatorships dig in, frozen conflicts flare up. The overheated euphoria of the Arab Spring, driven so much by the media and mobile communications, has turned ice cold. Above all, to see Syrian refugees in their thousands trudging across the same Balkan lands, which only so recently had their own populations on the move, breaks our hearts. In the Balkans, we undertook field programming, and it continued. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I should do this online. Then it would be okay. But I was overtaken by the issues. And I know why. I tried to remember the words of my old peace activist friend, and we trudge on. And now I know why, because only a few months ago, an ISIS car bomb in Baghdad killed Ammar al-Shabandar, one of my dearest friends, and the long-standing head of our major Iraq programming. Ammar's vision for a positive future in his country was inextinguishable. His strategy for building peace and reducing conflict through reconciliation among communities through the media was clear and effective. And his life-sacrificing commitment to the cause was, well, complete. Ammar was an idealist and a rascal, and I will always miss him. But we have highlights and examples of hope as well, launching the first independent news agency in Afghanistan, supporting the passage of major media reform legislation in Rwanda, supporting launching a major breakthrough human rights TV magazine program in Iraq, programming around women and youth and elections in fragile post-conflict environments, courageous reporting from forgotten worlds like Uzbekistan or northern Uganda. Some years ago, a precocious young girl living in the Swat Valley amid Taliban conflict joined IWPR's youth training and civic education program. Precocious, high-spirited, but remarkably thoughtful for her age, she became a peer educator in our program, started to blog for the BBC, and the rest truly is history. She suffered an assassination attempt. She survived and moved to the UK. Late last year, Malala Yousafzai, a former IWPR trainee, became the youngest person ever to receive the Nobel Prize for Peace. Amid all this, I am torn between such despair and such optimism. The extent of the challenges we face, the entrenched conflicts, and above all, the spread of extremist ideologies, violent and extremist ideologies, is incredibly dispiriting. Yet the potential for citizen engagement, the power of local voices, and the increasing recognition of these factors internationally helps sustain us. So, what are my lessons? Let me choose three. First of all, there are no quick fixes. The solutions are long-term. Our Western habit of moving on too quickly is reckless. It is imperative to identify long-term partnerships and sustain the course. Second, technology is value neutral. It can be a force, as we just saw, for a great good and has enormous potential. IWPR is one such example. But it can also be used for great evil. ISIS is winning the information war, and we face a long generational struggle ahead. But third and above all, the real solution is people. The desire I saw in Sarajevo 2 decades ago to communicate honestly and freely is exactly the same as I saw in Baghdad just a couple of weeks ago. IWPR's award-winning project coordinator in Syria, Zena Ehram, has spent the last 2 years living just exactly at the front line in Aleppo. She's a young woman of amazing talent, composure, and staggering courage. Individuals like these are what IWPR is all about. It is our aim to work for the long term, to support peace and positive change from the ground up through such forthright voices as these. They motivate us every day to get up and do everything that we can to help them. And after many, many years, they still continue to give me hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you, Tony. Can I say Tony? Good. Relax. We're now going to ask you some questions, right? Does anybody has a question? No? Well, you still have hope, right? There's a lot of hope.
When, and I now know why I lost it. Our colleague was killed 4 months ago, and anytime I come up to that topic, I lose my composure, and we're organizing the memorial for him in 2 weeks. But I can tell you that in the days that we traveled to Baghdad after his death, which was very hard because he was a big figure in his staff, we walked down, we came to the office, and what we knew the minute we arrived is that we had to continue. Yeah. That the spirit that he'd established and the training that he'd put into his team and their conviction to continue inspired our own.
Yeah, that's good. Fantastic. Does anybody... We can learn from that you have hope. We have to keep up hoping, right?
Well, like I said, it's a long-term process, and it's person by person, and it's mind by mind. I think we face a very serious challenge right now. I think that the capacity of extremist forces to use technology and social media is outpacing our own. I think there are definitely good people out there, no question about it, and most populations are normal and wish to avoid, but we have to engage, and we can't let up.
Yeah, so engage, right. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, do you work in Myanmar or with the Rohingya issue in Myanmar?
Yes, we do exactly what we do. That's precisely what we do.
And the migrant crisis in the area?
Yes, we're working with minority problems, big transition, but a big problem of working with a minority in that country. And it's both a problem of minority, but also really a problem of broader democracy within transitioning society. So that's precisely the kind of thing that we do. And actually that project is just starting up. Thank you for asking.
I have a question through Twitter. Georgiana, what would you say to someone struggling with finding hope?
Yes, well, I take you back to what this dear colleague of mine told me all those years ago. You cannot, if you look at the big political issues and global conflicts that you can't resolve, you may despair. But if you look at the things that you can change, the adjustments and the positive change you can make, then I think you get a lot of hope. And above all, if you look at the people you're able to work with and the colleagues and the support you're able to build, then that will sustain you.
I was just I was just wondering how can I imagine the work you're doing, or what is your support, or what exactly is the work or the cooperation?
What does it look like? The real purpose of IDPR is to strengthen the fabric of local debate, journalism, and civil society engagement within the countries where we're operating, because that's where the conflict is, that's where the problem is, that's where the development needs are, that's where the transitional issues relate to. So we're trying to strengthen the journalism within that country. We're trying to help civil society organizations operate more forthrightly, more openly, and be able to speak out more freely. We do, from time to time, work with host governments who may be able to work with us to look at obstacles to freedom of expression. It's also true that transparency and good governance does not necessarily mean anti-government, which is an important distinction. So everybody has a benefit to a society which works better, is more efficient and more effective. Obviously, political issues come into play. We're not a political organization. We have lots of political opinions and views, but as an organization, we are not. So that it can include training projects with local journalists, producing a lot of material, working with women's groups. The project that we worked with Malala was a fantastic project, working with young Pakistan students to get them really to debate democracy and development issues and using the media as a tool so they could learn to speak out. I have a feeling that she would have done well in any event, but we were very lucky and very proud to be able to work with her when she was so young, as an example of the kind of programming that we do.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your story, and we keep on keeping hope. Thank you. Tony Borden.
Hi, everybody. I'm Anne van Rossum, and I'm a roboticist. I build robots for the last 10 years. All type of different robots, self-reconfigurable robots that can alter shapes, like transformers, swarms of drones that we have used to detect and find dune fires and forest fires. Also industrial cleaning machines with which we autonomously clean warehouses and supermarkets. And what I was thinking was, where actually does my love of robots come from? And I had to go back to my childhood. I'm raised in Goeree-Overflakkee, an island in the south of Holland, in a very religious Christian family. I can tell you some rules we had. For example, I was not allowed to watch television or listen to the radio or bike on Sundays or have a Christmas tree with Christmas or watch the fireworks at New Year's Eve. As a kid, I was allowed to read, and I had also popular science magazines. And in those magazines, there were puzzles. And although we didn't have a television as such, we had a computer. And I used that computer to solve those puzzles for me. I think since I was 10 or so, the computer was an extension of my brain. It even got me a prize so now and then. And also, if I think a little bit more, it was not so much a friend, but it at least didn't bully me, it didn't tease me, it didn't judge me, it did obey me. It was pleasant as a kid. If you now forward again to me as a roboticist, I'm trying to make the computer more and more intelligent every year. Towards that, I put them into boxes, so-called embodiment. We make robots from them, so they can behave like animals and humans are. It's very intelligent to be able to walk around as such. One of the things is, and I'm convinced about it, are those robots not going to be as smart as us? And is there not a time in which they're going to be smarter than us? I think the answer will be yes. Moreover, if we have those robots as such in this world, don't you think we as humans are actually not able to solve all the problems we have? Don't we need them? I think the answer to this is a resounding yes. We have a lot of problems in the world. We don't know how to distribute food in the world. If there is an asteroid on a collision course with Earth, we don't know how to deter it. We don't even know how to organize who lives where on this planet, having artificial barriers. We don't know how to prevent war. Question is, if we are going to be the people that are going to dictate to those robots what they're going to do, are we actually so morally superior to do so? Can we play for God? Can we dictate what they do? We eat other species for pleasure. We are quite an evil species in ourselves. We kill and we run havoc on people that live on the other side of a river or that have a different religion than ours. And even if we would be able to say, okay, we are morally superior and we can do this, we can say what is right and what is wrong, can we actually do so? A robot is not programmed like a normal computer. It is more like how you're teaching your children. Can you program your kids? Can you program your cats? A robot cannot be programmed like that. It's being taught right now already. It's a scary thought, but we won't be in control. However, I want to bring a positive thought. If robots are going to evolve to be super intelligent beings, isn't it logical that they also will be super empathetic? Empathy is a neural construct. It's based on mirror neurons. It allows us to feel what other people are feeling and experience what other people are experiencing. If we have these kind of constructs in our brains, what about super intelligent beings? I think it's quite a statement to say, yeah, those super intelligent beings will exist, but they will have subpar empathy. Do you guys know the 3 laws of Asimov? The 3 laws of robotics, from the guy who wrote I, Robot. First law, a robot should never harm a human being. The second law, a robot should always obey a human being. And the third law, a robot should never commit suicide. I think these laws show how human-centric our laws are. And my challenge to you this time is not so much to ask questions, but to come up with your own laws, for robots in this case, and to think about what kind of things you would say to a being like that. Don't think about a computer, think about your children, think about your friends. Thank you. So if I may, if someone has a suggestion for a law. Yeah.
My suggestion is don't make a god out of a robot. And that's what you are doing.
Okay, maybe you can stand up so we have one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Next one. Here, in front.
Did you watch the movie Her?
Yeah.
Don't fall in love with a robot.
Two.
That's a good one. More laws? Yes,
There.
in the back.
I think robots should be creative.
Yeah.
Who else?
Mm-hmm. Do you have a law on for yourself or the robots? Because you mentioned 3, but it's from the movie. But
It is from the movie.
what do you think?
I think we're not good enough to make up laws.
Hmm.
And I don't think the humans are gods as such. And maybe I agree with not having robots as gods. But I think we also see ourselves often as gods, so it should be in balance.
All right. Anybody else? Ooh. You have to throw really, really far.
That was a challenge. Thank you. So you said something very interesting about empathy, that is a neurologic function.
Mm-hmm.
So if I turn it a little bit around, do you think, because you were talking about empathy as a robot feeling towards humans, but how about humans toward robots? How do you think that would play out? Should a human be empathic towards a robot? Because that would mean treating it like another human, right?
I have seen on TV, and that struck really a personal thing with me. People that are using robots to watch television together, and they were telling about people that passed and things like that to the robot. And this really struck a personal thing in my heart, because if you are indeed surrounded by an artificial intelligence that is understanding you completely, it will actually mean that if we are going to grow older, we won't necessarily need to be alone. If we have AIs that are
present in the world. So today, when you came in, we asked people, are you willing to swap your belongings, like your coat, your jacket, your bag, whatever you had on you, for a brand new one? Like exactly the same everything, but new. And it surprised me, a lot of people told me, oh yes, great, please. And we're going to throw away the old one. Okay. That's strange, because you're throwing away the 90%. And you're replacing it by a replica. It's not the real one. It's a replica. It's not the object that tells the story. It may look like it, but it's not. So after the experience of the flea market, I felt there was a Tilburg Cowboys project coming up. Because we like to work in the middle of society. We like to question behavior, look at behavior, and to come up with some new rules, trying to provoke new things. How do I explain? Like, if you add new rules, you'll get new behavior, and maybe some new thoughts, and maybe try to change some things after all. So we went back to the flea market as Tilburg Cowboys. And we tried to buy the stuff with emotional value. Like just before the flea market ends, there's a lot of stuff nobody wants to buy. Like old shoes, broken Game Boys, that sort of stuff we bought. Well, it didn't cost us much. But we asked the story behind it and wrote it down to prevent the emotional value to get lost. So we connected the object and the story, so to preserve it. And then we had our own flea market. In the museum, We sold the stuff again for the economic value, which is €2 for a radio. But people had to sign adoption papers because they got the story with it. It's connected to it. And they actually had to sign for the rest of their life to keep the story and the object connected. Even if they try to pass it on, sell it, promise you'll give it the story with it. And actually the story will get longer that way too. So for all those objects that nobody wanted to buy in the flea market, we had this own flea market in the museum in Tilburg, and it was sold within 10 minutes. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because it looks like art in a museum, but I'm not sure. But it's not that different, actually. Art is just objects with added value, and that's what we did. We did added value. And I know we're living in a new economy of sharing things, not owning things. We're using each other's cars, bikes, even each other's houses, beds, Airbnb, but the stuff you use, like that's a user perspective. It's a consumer perspective. And you don't own that stuff. And stuff is only protected, or maybe best protected by the people who own it. Because you're not a Facebook owner. You don't own your profile. You use it. And if you are mixing with the rules, the system will kick you out. It's not yours. It's not protected. It's gone. It happened to me last week. Yeah, I didn't think that was funny at all, actually. Like, oh my God, where's all my posts? So we just assume it's all there, the Facebook, to use. But if you are really want to take care of your stuff, you have to own it. So I want to think about what is yours, what is the stuff you own, the stuff you want to take care of, and what will be your personal heritage. Because the good thing about the material world, instead of the digital world, is that it is limited. The wall in your house is not as big as your Facebook wall. And that's good. Because you actually have to choose what to show, what to talk about. It's not everything, like everything is too much, like you have to make decision what is important. So, in the break, we'd like to invite you back with your bags, your jackets, and we'll determine what is real emotional value and what is not. What is personal heritage and what is not. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your emotional value story. Something to think about. Does anybody has a question?
Hello? Yes, it's working.
Could you please stand up?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
My question is, what did you do wrong on Facebook?
Ooh, really personal question. What did you do wrong on Facebook?
What did I do wrong? I'm not sure. I was hacked. My account was hacked. Facebook was posting all kinds of advertisement for women's shoes for me.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Yeah.
I also have another question.
Mm-hmm.
Is your wife not getting sick of all the stuff in your house?
That's quite personal because we got divorced.
Oh, sorry.
Anybody else? Quick. Yes, over here.
Are you gonna do this flea market in the museum again?
Yes, we might. We might. If you want to get rid of the stuff you with some emotional value, we'll try to
start all over again. Or?
Yeah, we can.
I really like the idea of
okay, you're
doing
welcome.
it with the story.
Oh, actually, you're welcome to join us. Just we'll gather like Tilburg Cowboys it's a group of people, so okay. Please be invited.
Yes, over there. Someone has a question.
I was wondering, do you think it's useful to have an emotional value to an object? Because, you know, so many, I don't know, people are so advised don't be emotionally attached to objects. It's just an object. It's just about the experience or the memory you have, but the object itself is actually not that important. So what's your standpoint on that?
Yes, but useful, that's the key word. What is useful? And I think like the story, that's what emotional value is, that's the story. I think it's best told with an object or a picture to connect, like that's the entrance. Like even in a religion we keep statues, not like it's something to connect to, and like the difference between real photographs, or like the old ones, like printed, and digital, is that it doesn't call for anything, not for attention, it's not there. So like the objects you actually care for to display, they will most likely raise the questions for what is it about or what is the story behind it. So I think that's the use for it. So, and if you throw it away, the story is in your head only, and it might disappear a little bit.
Thank you, Sander. Thank
Okay.
you. So you're all invited in the break for the emotional value, right?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name Amir Shanati. I will talk about my story. I have been born as a refugee in Syria. Yes, as a refugee, because my father, my grandfather have been born in Palestine. So when the war started at 1948 in Palestine between Israeli people and Palestinian people, my family left Palestine to Syria. And the first, I don't know I am from Syria or I'm from Palestine because I am child, cannot know about this. But when I started to know about this, when start go to school, in the streets, everywhere, the people say to me, Amr, this is not your country. This is not your home. This is not your school. So then I started asking my family, my father, what happened? Why this friend say to me like this? What people say about this? Then my family, my father told me about we are refugee here, not from Syria. So yeah, 27 years in Syria as refugee. Then cannot feel in peace. How can feel if you are all these people look to you as refugees? Then start like everyone listen to music. I started listening to music more and more and more, and then really when I listen to music, I feel this is my life, this is my world, this is my place. Then I had idea, I want after the school learn music, but in the first I thought this will be very hard because maybe my family will say, no, you must go to higher university or something, because all my family have good study at like an engineer, doctorate, because we know we are from Palestine and we don't have country, we don't have house, so must go to good university. But then I asked my father and they say to me, do what you want, this is your life, this is very good. Yeah, and then I started learn music and teach music. This what happened after 2 years. I opened my small school for teach children. This what happened. Then start the children come to me from camp, refugee camp, and also from Syrian children. And then really I started feel this my place. This what I want. Give these children energy, more energy to, because the children will do the future. Will for not one be like refugees. Everyone feel good in the peace with the music. Not important to everyone be musician in the future. Just to play and give another one this energy. I composed a lot of music. I wrote 2 books about Arabic music. After 1 year, I have more and more children, around 150 students. I cannot teach them alone, sorry. I have more teacher work with me. I feel really this is my home, my school, this is my home, not my home with in a room. And I made 2 bands from these children and make a lot concerts in Syria. Then the war starts. When the war starts, sure, no one from these students can come to this school. Anyone maybe will dead in the way. So I closed the school. Then I don't know where my friend, my students. I sit in my home and talk with myself. Amr, what you can do, what I can do, what I can do. Then also I had idea. I went to UN, UNRWA. Yeah. And I asked them, I want be as a volunteer to help the children with music. I can learn them the music, and it's very good for children in the war. They say to me, okay, and give me a small place around 3 meter and 3 meter. This is my school now, just small place. And I started with them. Before I started teach, I gave around 30 students. I gave everyone paper, and I asked all, please, everyone, draw what you want in this paper. And 10 minutes, I have this paper, and what I see in this paper, everything about the war. Just about the war, nothing nice. No children play, no sun, no flowers, nothing. Just some people dead, house kaput, everything kaput. Yeah. I say, okay. And I started teach this students. And also have big problem because this poor children cannot buy instrument. I helped help these children. Also, my family, I asked them for help these children to buy an instrument. Then some good friend helped me to give this instrument very hard. Then I made from them very well band. And in the war, I made around 5 concerts. This very good. And really, and I worked with them all the day, from 8 in the morning to 9 in the evening, without stop, just for a little time for it, because really I felt this my home, this small. I feel the peace with these children. Children come for less for 1 hour, but stay 2, 3, 4 hours. Don't want to go to home, just in this small place. Then, after, before 1 year, when I am in Syria, something bad happened with me. I cannot tell you about this. Sorry, cannot tell camera and the newspaper. If one won't ask me out, yes, I will tell you. Yeah. I must leave Syria. And then start travel. But before this, I talk with my family. What the best I do? My father say to me, I cannot give you the safe in Syria. I cannot do anything for you. Also do what you want. Yeah, and then, yeah, I say goodbye to my family, and I don't know if I meet one day I meet them. Sorry, if I will meet them again or no. Yes, I am here now, and my family in homes, in the war. Don't know what will happen in the future. Yeah, but also I have the hope for them to be okay, and one day we'll meet if the war stop, or if come to here, but that's very hard. Yeah, then I come to here, but before I talk about short life in Netherlands, my students in Syria now sent to me short video to hear, and I will now play with them. Thank you very much. Now, in Netherlands, second refugee. 27 years in Syria, now 1 year and 2 months in Netherlands. Also refugee. This is what I don't like. Always people, Amr Shanati, musician, refugee. In the newspaper, in the TV, in the radio, everything, Amr Shanati, musician, refugee. Hope one day no one say to me, Amr, you are refugee. Yes, I started here, live in camps, like anyone come to here as a refugee. 5 camps around Netherlands. Groningen, Wageningen, Arnhem, Budel, Ter Apel. Very hard. Cannot have good feeling. Every some months, new people, new system, cannot play. But always I have big energy. What I do with this energy and with hope, every camp have already refugee children. And in all these camps, I make a lot of activity for these children, refugee children. I am a refugee and I give them activity. Yes, and also, when this small room in camps, like in Syria, I don't feel very well. But when I make activity for the children, I started feel, yes, again, this is my place. This is my home with children. And when I am in the camp, something good happened. Not nice to go from camp to another camp, but what nice happened, I meet a lot musicians around Netherlands. And I played in Concert Gebouw in, I don't know if I say this good, Concert Gebouw in Amsterdam. And I played on Radio 5 in Amsterdam also. And then when I start live here in my home in Den Haag, yes, I say this my home, but really I cannot feel this my home. Always when I am out in the school, in any place, when I go to my home, I ask myself, where I go now? Really, I go to my home and I will close the door and I will be in my home. I cannot feel like this. In my home, I have band. But when I start live this, all the time I sit in the stool. And really, after 1 month, I asked myself, Amr, you can't sit here. This is yours. Why you don't sit here? Because really, I don't feel this my home. Then I also started to teach children, refugee children in Katwijk, have 2 camps there. And there what's nice, the refugees not nice, not from Syria, just Afghanistan, Serbia, Pakistan, Armenia, Russia, from everywhere. And I started to teach them 3 months ago. And also, when I be with them, yes, this is my home, not my home now in Den Haag. I can give them very good energy and give them the peace, because the children, this is what I believe, the children will make the future. If we give the children everything okay, the future will be okay for all world, without war, without anyone out your home or your country. And something nice happened with me. I played in 5 May, this night, I think very important for Netherlands. And I wrote something in Facebook when asked me to play in this day. I am very happy to play for Netherlands in 5 May. And I hope one day I play for same this day for Palestine. Just say this. And I went to this concert and I played and everything okay. When I finished it, Marcos, this one, asked me to play in this night. Will talk to the people about me, just say Amr Shanati and then say Amr Shanati from Palestine. And he wrote in Facebook, he is very happy to play in this night for us, and he really hope one day play in same this day for Palestine. And he say, and we tell you, Amr, we hope one day play with you for Palestine. Then really I feel my message with all people. Whew. Sorry again. Yeah. This is my message. Yes. Thank you very much. Now I will play a little time.
Thank you, Amir, for your beautiful music and your inspiring story. We have 2 short questions for you. They came
Yeah.
through Twitter. Are you ready?
With the easy language, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think the Netherlands can do better to help refugees?
Oh. Yeah. I think Netherlands do the best for refugees already. Yes, really. Yeah, I don't know who asked this question, but really search about what Netherlands do for refugees, and Netherlands they give the refugees the peace. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Next one. What would you recommend to other refugees in order to integrate with the host culture?
Hard question.
Okay, leave it then. We leave it with the other one. Yeah.
I will. If this in Twitter, I can answer in.
Search it up and then take
in
your
Twitter.
time and then react. All right? Okay. Thank you for your music and your inspiring story, Amir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna have a break, but before we take a short break, everybody's got a goodie bag, and in a goodie bag there's a card, a postcard, and you can write it to yourself with a promise on what your contribution to peace will be. So address it to yourself, hand it in to us, and we will send it to you in 1 year. So that's a nice one. Okay, have a break. See you in 15 minutes.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
My name is Shanobi. But actually, I'm Wang. I've been born in Ho Chi Minh, the biggest city of Vietnam. I've been raised in Kortrijk, a town nearby the center of West Belgium. And I am living in The Hague, the governmental capital of Holland. As far as I know, I was left behind in an orphanage since birth. 4 months later, I got adopted by the person who I now refer to as my mother. She told me that the nurses who took care of me in the orphanage used to call me Emperor in Yellow, was the literal translation of my name, Wang. 1 year later, my mother decided to adopt again. This time, a girl, also from Vietnam. She is now my proud little sister, named Camille. She left last week to Sicily to pursue her own dreams as a dancer. As a toddler, I had difficulties with certain locomotion abilities, such as climbing stairs or holding a pencil. To solve this, my mother sent me to ballet class to move my body in motion and to develop my muscles. And honestly, I hated to do ballet as a kid. Really hated. Mostly I was the only guy surrounded by 30 other girls trying to mimic fancy movements that really looked retarded on me back then. But strangely enough, I never decided to quit. And luckily, I had my sister during all classes, so if I needed support, I could get that from her. 6 years later, my mother decided to adopt again, only this time from Haiti. She adopted a girl named Odile, and a year later she adopted a boy named Jean-François. And eventually, they started to dance as well. And so there were we then, 4 children, 2 guys, 2 girls, 2 countries, 2 cultures, 1 big family. And it was funny sometimes because we used to fight over stupid things, but strangely enough, when the 4 of us were on stage, that never happened. It was like, if we would step on stage, we would cross a certain border, and behind that border, our disagreements would not exist. That's also why I believe if every soldier would become a dancer, there wouldn't be such a thing as war. I reached last year of primary school, and 2 amazing things happened to me. I had the opportunity to return back to Vietnam, and I was accepted for the Wedo Ballet School of Antwerp. One of the hardest and most emotional moments in Vietnam was when I visited the orphanage back. It was hard to see in what kind of situations those kids had to grow up in comparison to my childhood. It was hard to imagine that I could be one of them if I had the chance of being adopted. And that's when I made a promise to myself. I wanted to return back later as an employee in service of that country, not even knowing back then as what or how. So my time in Vietnam was over then. I started at the Royal Ballet School. And those first years of education were very important to me because that's how I discovered my potential as being a ballet dancer. And then I realized what I wanted to be if I would return back to Vietnam. And that was a director of my own ballet school. Then I could share my joy with those children there. I finished high school there. And then I had to find a job. That's how I came in connection with the Dutch Dome Dance Division. And luckily for me, the Dutch Dome Dance Division isn't just a regular company. Last year we had a talk, and I explained them my future dreams. So they would eventually help me to realize them. So I'm very grateful for that. Of course, I want to create my own career as a dancer as long as possible, but at least I made some steps then. I already had some visions of that dream. One of them is that my brothers and sisters would follow me by becoming teachers, for example. The last thing that I also want is a small chamber or house built above the roof for my mother, who supported me in everything that I did until now. With every decision that I made, that's at least, that's the least what I could do to thank her. So this was about it. This was my story. I'm Jean-Louis, but actually, I'm Wang. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Does anybody has a question for Jean-Louis? No? Yes? Oh, I'm gonna throw it, yeah?
This might be a silly question, but do you do any other style of dancing other than ballet?
Yeah, we're actually doing a lot of styles in the company, but ballet is the main thing. So we have every day a ballet class, but sometimes we could ask for promotional gigs, and then we have to do sometimes hip-hop or other kinds of dance. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, one more question?
Yeah, I just want to know who was the speech from in the song?
It's from Charlie Chaplin, from The Great Dictator.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'd like to thank you, Jean-Louis. A big applause. Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sietske van Geel. I'm 27 years old, and I'm working for the Salvation Army here in the Netherlands. I'm working for the second-hand clothing department of the Salvation Army here in the Netherlands. And within the Netherlands, we collect like 24 million kilos of textiles every year. There really is a lot. To illustrate it, it's like a whole soccer arena full of second-hand clothes every year. And my job within the Salvation Army is to open shops, reshare stores. We collect and sell and sort the clothes within our sorting center in Utrecht. And here you can find some pieces which are sorted. Everything is labeled and priced and goes to the reshare stores. We nowadays have 3 stores in the Netherlands, but it's really my big dream, and I really believe in this concept. And we want to grow to a large chain here in the Netherlands. And I really believe in this because it fits society, and we already heard the examples of sharing, like Airbnb and Peerbuy. And with clothes, it's the same, resharing clothes and closing the loop in case of textiles. And it also creates a lot of possibilities concerning social return and sustainability, because we all know the bad images of producing factories of textiles in, for example, third world countries like Bangladesh. And people are literally die over there because the working conditions are so bad. And we see in the newspapers and on the television, we see that there are fires in the producing processes, and we all feel guilty about this, but we can all contribute. And not only for the working conditions in the third world countries, but also for the environment. It creates huge possibilities. Because you can imagine when the production of 1 kilo of cotton costs us like 17,000 liters of water, the impact on the environment is huge. And also the CO2 impact is enormous, because after plastic waste, the waste of textile has the most huge impact on the CO2 of the environment. So the point I want to make here that reusing and recycling textiles really creates possibilities for the labor conditions in third world countries, but also for the environment. And not only in countries far away and in third world countries, but also in our own society. Because by reusing, sorting, and selling these textiles, we create like 300 working places only in the Netherlands. And these working places are for people which would otherwise have no reason to wake up every day. These people are getting structure in their life and really reintegrate back in society. And it's also about boosting their self-esteem, because those people are coming in contact with customers in a really nice shopping environment. It is professional, it's retail-driven, and yeah, it really looks good, and it stimulates their creativity. Also because we have some sewing ateliers in our shops, and yeah, the people love to make those unique pieces here, which we also sell in the reshare stores. And furthermore, it's about boosting self-esteem of the people working in it, but also boosting self-esteem for the people who are buying there. Because I really believe that in our stores, all layers of society are coming together. It must be accessible for everyone. And it really frustrates me that people with small budgets are often forced to shop in dusty and smelly and dark second-hand clothing shops. So I really believe that it's about dignity and respect, and to create also a nice shopping environment for these people with a small budget, and that they feel respected. And they do not have to feel ashamed to shop in our stores, like the reshare stores. So now I want some action over here, and I want to ask you to stand up and to take this pillow in your hand. Because you're all sitting on this pillow. And this pillow illustrates perfectly my story, because it is made by people with a distance to the labor market, people who would otherwise have no work during the day at all, and it's made from materials which would otherwise be burned, and they would harm the environment. And also on the back, you see the blue marine stuff, and it's from our Dutch Defense Force. So our Dutch Defense Force would otherwise burn these materials, and now they donate it to us, and we make things like pillows of it. So that's what I wanted to tell you about closing the loop of textiles, and closing the loop creates possibilities in social return and sustainability. So thank you very much.
Wow, thank you. If you want to buy a pillow, the pillow that you're sitting on, you can do that after the show, right?
Yeah,
Like
and
$7.50?
sorry?
$7.50, right?
They're €6, and
even cheaper.
Yeah, and also if the people want to, I can imagine that you ask yourself what you can contribute, and because every person has like 5 kilos of textiles every year, you can contribute yourself towards resharing textiles. And if you want to have some more information or buy the pillows, you can ask me and my colleagues in the lobby.
All right, thank you. Sietske.
Yes.
He's going to tell his vision on Your Piece, My Piece. Andro Vos.
I have heard some amazing talks this afternoon about humans looking for justice. This talk is about animals, not about your cat or your dog at home, but wildlife. And to be more specific, wildlife crime. According to Interpol, wildlife crime has a turnover of €20 billion annually. And wildlife crime is really highly organized. The syndicates, they have tentacles from politicians to local farmers in rural communities. The wildlife poachers, the rhino poachers, they kill 2 rhinos a day. And within 84 hours, you will find a rhino horn on the markets of Hanoi. To give you some perspective, to see the needs and the problems in the situation, if you go now in the markets and you will buy 1 kilo heroin, you will pay $50,000. If you want to buy 1 kilo rhino horn, you will pay $100,000. double the price of cocaine. Well, I'm a program director at the Netherlands Forensic Institute. Our institute is the world-leading forensic institute. One of our fields of expertise is wildlife forensics. And talking about forensics, in a way, you are all experts in forensics. You watch CSI New York, CSI Miami, but for now, just a short lecture. The police can solve a crime by a tactical method, by interrogating you, taking information out of you, by following you, or infiltrate in an organization just for the information. And then you have this forensic investigation. Yeah, the forensic investigation is based on traces you can find on the crime scene. And at the crime scene, you can find multiple traces, like human traces, non-human traces, digital traces, or chemical traces, all kinds of traces. Okay, for this job, I had to go for a mission in Africa. And my wife, Petra, she's here. Where you are, Petra? Raise up your hand. She was with me. Yeah, she's important in the story. She was with me. And the policy of our organization is, if you travel abroad, organize the transport, yeah, from the airport to your final destination. So I called the guest house and I said to them, well, I arrive, so, please send the driver to pick me up. So we depart from Amsterdam and arrived somewhere in Africa. I don't mention the name of the country for understandable reasons. We arrived in Africa, picked up our luggage, walked to the entrance, and we're looking for a driver. No driver. I called the guest house, where is my driver? But nobody picked up the phone. So then I began to get this strange feeling. I'm somewhere in Africa, it's 12 at night, I don't have transportation. So we went back into the airport to a guy from the security, and I said to this guy, bring me to a decent, reliable taxi. And he said, okay, sir, follow me. So we followed him. He brought us outside to a taxi. I looked the guys in his eyes, and I thought, okay, he looks cool. We jumped in the taxi and drove away to our final destination. After an hour drive, a white car came and hit our car. An accident. Two guys stepped out of the car, walked towards the driver, and started an argument. Suddenly, I saw that one of the guys had a gun in his hand. I said to Petra, this is not an accident, this is a robbery. Please stay quiet. Then one of the guys opened the backseat door. He forced me to go out of the taxi, and after me, Petra followed. And the guy walked towards me, and he pointed the gun to my head. I tried to protect Petra behind me, like this. And the other guy started unload the taxi with our suitcases, everything we had. Then the guy forced us to lie on the ground, and he walked behind us with a gun in his hand. And I looked her in the eyes, and I saw the fear and anxiety of a mother probably thinking of her children. Then the guy jumped in the car, drove away. And there we stood, 12 at night, in the middle of Africa, nothing, just face dead in the eyes. The driver was still on the ground, and I said to him, quickly to the guest house. We went to the guest house, called the police, they came, took our statement, and after that, nothing. So no question, where is the crime scene? Who did it? Are there traces over there? They didn't know I was a forensic expert. Okay, nothing. This could easily be my crime scene, no problem. They had nothing to lose, they could have killed us just like this. But if you look at this crime scene, you can ask yourself, who is this guy? Did he commit suicide? Did somebody kill him? Did he have the wrong friends? Or was he a member of a criminal organization? In general, you can say you have your own responsibility. look after yourself. But they couldn't take responsibility. They didn't have the wrong friends. They weren't members of a criminal organization. They were just two rhinos at the wrong time on the wrong place. There are a few methods to protect the animals. You can saw off the horn, like there. You can inject in the middle the horn with poison, so it's not.
The whole project became bigger and bigger. At the end, we sold T-shirts and bags with these images on, and the people who first didn't react on the Facebook post were wearing now the shirts. And everybody said, it's great, it's such a success. And I still felt so empty because I thought, what does this change? What did I accomplish with this project? And are the people really listening, or do they just like the shirts? Or do they just like the street art project? This boy called Allah is still dead. A few months ago, there was this boat with 800 refugees, and it sank, and all the people were dead. And again, I was so sad about this. I thought, all these people, they died, and they didn't do anything. And then these tweets came from people who said, I'm so happy, 800 refugees less coming to the Netherlands. And then again, I got so angry, and I thought, who are you to judge and to be happy that somebody died? You don't even know these people. So again, I had this feeling I have to do something. And then I thought, I want to that people look at refugees as people. And then I thought, okay, I want to make something which is really nice and beautiful. And then I thought, okay, everything which is very small and tiny, people like. When it's baby feet or Madurodam, everything which is small, a puppy. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to make mini refugees. And it was a Sunday morning, and I took the clay of my kids, and I started modeling. And I was a little embarrassed because I thought maybe it's a little bit childish. And my husband came up and he said, what are you doing? And I said, making mini refugees. He said, what? I said, I'm making mini refugees and I want to put it in the street and I want to tell stories about these people. And he said, that's very nice. I said, okay. So I told my colleagues, and also they said, yeah, it's very nice, you should do that. So maybe somebody already found the little moving people. We're making now 10,000, so I'm pretty enthusiastic about it. A lot of media wrote about it, and a lot of people are sharing it on Facebook, on Twitter, #MovingPeople. And of course I'm proud, because all the people are telling me this is so beautiful and it's such a nice project. But again, I have this empty feeling. How did I help the refugees with this? Who's going to be better with these little people? This is Istahil. She's one of the persons who I worked with for the project. And to the real Istahil, I sent a friend request on Facebook. And she immediately accepted it. And I sent her a message and I said, it's still so nice that we are Facebook friends now. And she said, no, we are friends for life. And then I thought, yes, I did something good because I told her story and I gave her a face. And I did the same for the other refugees who I work with. And then I thought, yeah, for me, peace, it's solidarity, it's connection. And it can be very small, but that's my way. And I use my art as a weapon against indifference, and I hope to manage connection. For me, art is the light that enables us to realize the truth.
Wow, first of all, I'm the last one today, so that's quite special. I've seen everybody talk, I've seen what it's like to be on stage, and I'm quite nervous to tell you my story, but I also feel really warm, especially because this seems like an ode. This afternoon seems like an ode to peace, but also an ode to art and the powerful tool of the art. And so I wanted to start my speech with saying, films are made to be seen. That's what I believe in. My name is Maureen Prince. I am the founder of Solar Cinema, and I'm also a filmmaker. Solar Cinema is a mobile solar-powered cinema that brings unseen films to unusual places. That's a nice slogan, but maybe it needs some explanation. I'll just tell you first what the Solar Cinema is. It's actually a van, and it has solar panels on the roof. It's parked outside, so if anybody wants to come and see it later, you can. And the solar panels on the roof generate enough solar power for us. I store it in batteries in my van, and then we can travel virtually anywhere to set up an outdoor screening. This can be in a park, a beach, a square, even maybe the garden of the Peace Palace. And in this way, we really bring film close to an audience. For me, as a filmmaker, I really believe that films are a very strong tool to have a message, just like any art, basically. Art is a perfect tool to provoke thought, to start discussions, but also like Amar, I think his name was, the musician was saying, art can bring kind of liveliness and take you away for a bit out of your situation. So film can do this as well. So film needs to be seen, but most of the time films are shown in film theaters, festivals, TV, maybe online, but it's very for a specific, sometimes specific audience that have to look for this film and be interested in the film, to go and watch it. What we do is take the cinema to the people. So we drive our cinema to a local park and we invite the local neighborhoods to come and see these films. And it's quite magical. When I started doing this, I saw that something really happens. Not only that people come and see the film, maybe they're not even interested only about the title of the film or the subject, but they come and they gather. So maybe neighbors meet for the first time in the park when they're seeing this film, and they will chat together what they've seen. And I think then we've planted a seed also in this kind of social cohesion that happens. And it's fun, and depending on what subject the film is about, we can have debates afterwards, or sometimes we just come and arrive just for fun. So it's a traveling cinema, and I've been traveling, doing this for 9 years now, traveling the Netherlands and mostly in Europe. But I was thinking, wow, if I have a traveling cinema, wouldn't it be amazing to have more traveling cinemas and to bring more films, unusual films, to the most interesting places, and even to places where there is maybe even no energy, because we are self-sufficient with the solar energy. I started the foundation, Solar World Cinema, and I have 2 wonderful colleagues that are helping to pursue this dream. And our dream is to have a worldwide network of solar-powered cinemas that bring unseen films to unusual places. We've did a pilot project of 5 cinemas in Latin America. They're now traveling themselves, and they're operating independently. And then, like last night, I was making a screening, and I was thinking, how amazing is it that I'm here in Deventer, making a screening in a beautiful place, and at the same time, the cinema in Chile is traveling through the desert, bringing film to the children there. So that's a crazy thought of having all these mobile cinemas having the same cause and actually interchanging content, but also knowledge. So that's what we're doing. We're working from Indonesia to South Africa to Kosovo to Spain, and we try to get local entrepreneurs to start up the same van as I have. And that's great. And I think I want to take you to a very special place where we've been in May. And this is actually the Sahara. This is the Dakhla refugee camp of the Sahrawis. It's at the border of the Western Sahara. They've been living in this camp for 40 years now, awaiting a referendum. And so 3 or 4 generations nearly of Sahrawis are living there. There is a Spanish organization, a human rights film festival called FISahara. They go once a year and organize a film festival there. And we were invited to go to the festival, and also thinking of maybe we could make a project there. And I was thinking, wow, that's amazing. If you talk about unusual places, going to the Sahara, it's crazy. You would never go there, especially not to the camps. But at the same time, I was feeling a bit, you know, what the hell am I supposed to go and do there for them? Because I'm coming there to visit, and we come with films, and we're a festival, and after a week, we go again. And then actually arriving there and seeing this festival taking place in the middle of the sand, and having the whole camp gathering, seeing films, and watching films from all over the world, so opening their view to the world. That was amazing, but what was even stronger is, and then I come back to the power of art and film, is that that festival was also offering for that week a podium for the filmmakers, Sahrawi filmmakers that lived in the camps. There is a small film school. Young filmmakers make their films about their culture, and they're very proud to screen it. And then we go back. So I think, okay, so I go back. So is it worth it? Like, what can I do? What am I doing? Well, actually standing here and telling you about the Sahrawis, that's actually what we talked about. That's what's happening, and that's what's happening also giving a space for their films. And we're now trying to set the local film school up with a solar cinema, so they can actually start traveling along the other camps that are there, because we visited a camp of 40,000 people, but there's 160,000 refugees living there in camps. So if we enable them to have a traveling cinema, they keep on making their films, we exchange films, and they can provide a screen in the camps, then they can use the power of art and show their stories. So I really hope that we can go and help them, and it had a great impact to go there. I think tonight, actually, we have a screening, but because the weather in the Netherlands is not like the Sahara, we do have enough power because we've stored it the whole summer already in the batteries. The film screening was going to take place outside, but we've just had to decide that actually saving you from getting really wet and cold, we're moving the screening indoors. So the screening tonight of Between Worlds of Fea Al-Alada will be screened in here, and it'll start at 8 o'clock, 8:15, and we work on this screening together with Movies That Matter. So I think that's it.
All right, thank you, Marie. So, before we say goodbye, don't forget to give your postcard to the volunteers wearing the black shirts. And after the show, you are invited in Café de la Paix here in the hall. And first drink is on the house, so that's good. Maybe we can have a dance, please. This is the end of the show, but it's not the end of Hague Talks, because you can still start a conversation or ask questions through Twitter, Facebook, and our website. We hope to see you again at our next event in October in the Humanity House. So, see you again and bye. Come on and have a dance with me, okay?